It's a raccoon with a talk show, slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
Hi everyone, I'm Beaton, your pop culture loving trash panda, ready to deliver 10 more cool facts for you this week. I hope you're ready for some great stuff. So here we go with fact number 1. Did you know that there is a song in the Broadway version of Beauty and the Beast that was originally written for a specific performer? In 1998, Grammy Award winner Toni Braxton played the role of Belle in a strictly limited engagement. I actually remember this very well as it was a pretty big deal, but I also remember hearing that they had to transpose Belle's songs into a lower key for Braxton to sing, and it made her breathy R&B singing voice sound incompatible with the Disney style. To make up for this, songwriters Alan Menken and Tim Rice wrote a new song just for her called A Change in Me, and the song was so successful that every actress who has played Belle since has sung it. Fact 2. Sticking with Beauty and the Beast for this next fact, did you know that there's a subtle reference to the original way Be Our Guest was supposed to be sung present in the live-action remake? When Maurice enters the castle, he hears Maestro Cadenza, the harpsichord, playing Be Our Guest in the ballroom. Upon seeing Maurice enter the ballroom, he immediately stops. This is a reference to Be Our Guest originally planned to being sung to Maurice instead of Belle, but the producers ultimately decided to switch it out because Maurice was not the focus of the story and it wouldn't make sense to sing it to him because it was such a wonderful song. In fact, when the movie was teased on the VHS release of The Jungle Book in the early 90s, footage of Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts in the recording booth showed her singing the line, "He's our guest," instead of "She's our guest," indicating this promo was made before the character switch. Fact 3. Did you know that although the martial arts epic Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was made in Mandarin Chinese, none of the 4 main actors are native Mandarin speakers and had to learn their lines phonetically? Chow Yun-fat is a native Cantonese speaker, Michelle Yeoh is from Malaysia, and English is in fact her first language, Ziyi Zhang is from Beijing and spoke with a Beijing accent, and Cheng Cheng is from Taiwan. Ironically, in some Asian markets, the actors were dubbed over in a Mandarin dub track. Michelle Yeoh alone spent a whole year learning Mandarin for her role, in addition to the martial arts training. Zhang also had to spend a lot of time learning martial arts as she was a ballet dancer before becoming an actress. And watching the film, there are definitely a lot of dance influences in the fight sequences. 4. Did you know that there's a rather distracting makeup gaffe on Jack Nicholson's Joker makeup in his reveal scene in Tim Burton's Batman movie? When the Joker steps into the light after his transformation, you could see a distracting purple mark on his neck that was apparently a mistake on the part of the makeup artist. For some reason, it wasn't corrected for the final film, but the mark doesn't appear in any other scenes in the movie. Oh well, it doesn't take away from the fact that Jack played it really amazingly. Fact 5. Did you know that it was actor Marlon Brando's idea to make Superman's S symbol a part of the heritage of his family name? Brando had notably played Superman's father, Jor-El, in the Superman movie, and he came up with the notion that he would wear the same symbol on his clothes to represent the status of the House of El. Today, the symbol is not seen as an S at all, but rather the El family crest, and as also stated in the movie Man of Steel, the symbol for hope in the Kryptonian language. Fact 6. Did you know that all the animated caricatures and cameos from Steven Spielberg in the animated Warner Brothers cartoons of the 1990s, he only played himself once? He guest starred as himself on an episode of Tiny Toon Adventures, episode 73, Buster and Babs Go Hawaiian. In that episode, Spielberg pitches a script to the 2 bunnies, no relation of course, that was written by 3 preteen girls, Renee Carter, Sarah Creef, and Amy Crosby. The episode was in fact written by those 3 girls who were fans of the show, and they also made cameos as themselves in that same episode. Fact 7. Did you know that the original version of the song Singin' in the Rain did not originate from the movie starring Gene Kelly? It originated from a film musical called The Hollywood Review of 1929, and it was sung by Cliff Edwards, a popular radio personality at the time, also known as Ukulele Ike. But he would go on to bigger fame as the voice of Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio. Edwards' original version of the song was played on his trademark ukulele, and he was more bouncy in tempo and also did not contain the famous opening vamp that goes do 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 do. That was added by Gene Kelly for his iconic turn singing the classic song. The song's composer, Arthur Freed, went on to become a prominent producer of MGM movie musicals from the 1930s throughout the 1950s, and in fact produced Singin' in the Rain for the same studio, completely coming full circle. Fact 8. Did you know that in 2006 there was a mysterious video released on the internet showing what appeared to be a 10th anniversary edition of the original Tomb Raider game? This raised some eyebrows because it looked to be made by the original studio that made the Tomb Raider games, Core Design. Even though that studio no longer held the rights to the franchise, the series had been sold to Crystal Dynamics, who at that time rebooted the franchise with the game Tomb Raider Legend. The trailer also played the theme Duel of the Fates from Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace. It got taken down rather quickly, prompting Eidos Interactive to eventually confirm that there was indeed a game in the works based on the original Tomb Raider, and it was released in 2007, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the franchise. Tomb Raider Anniversary is regarded as a vast improvement over the original game, and remains a fan favorite to this day. Fact 9. Did you know that the success of Star Wars caused James Bond to go into outer space? After the release of The Spy Who Loved Me, which came out in 1977, Star Wars also came out that same year, and suddenly science fiction was hot property with other films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Even though The Spy Who Loved Me ended with a teaser saying James Bond will return in For Your Eyes Only, the next Bond movie to be released instead was Moonraker, which came out 2 years later in 1979. 10. Since I can't stay away from Beauty and the Beast for this final fact, did you know that while none of the songs from the Broadway version are present in the 2017 live-action remake, one piece of the score plays a brief snippet of one of the songs? When Belle is shown her bedroom in the castle and the camera pans around showing the location in full, the score changes to play the opening chords of the song Home, which in the Broadway show, Belle sings after being locked in her room by the Beast, questioning whether or not this castle and the master within it are worthy of being called home and giving up her freedom for her father's life. Even though she doesn't sing it in the movie, it's a nice callback to the Broadway version. And that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed what I had for you. Did you learn anything new or have anything you want to share with me? Please drop any comments. I definitely do look at what you have to say and any pieces of trivia you have for me. I totally love it when I get to learn something new and then pass it on to you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell to be notified for future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.